Welcome to Cold Calling Tips, what it is and how to use it effectively. This session is being brought to you by Next Steps Employment Centers, www.next-steps.ca. We have 7 sites throughout the Greater Toronto Area, 2 in Mississauga, 1 in Vaughan, and 4 in Toronto. So welcome. What is cold calling? Cold calling is contact by telephone or in person without a previous invitation or professional connection with any of the decision makers in the company. For instance, say a department manager. You call or visit the company to offer your services for a position or even multiple positions within the company. None of these positions are posted on the company's website or, say, a website such as Indeed or JobBank. You are initiating and hoping to gain an interview for internal positions. About 85% of positions within companies are never posted. They are promoted from within, or perhaps the person who is working in the company is approached by management to see if they know people who are qualified who could be interviewed for a position. So it is worth your while to make contact with a cold call or in person. Number 1, write down keywords and phrases you want to use from your resume that are relevant to the type of position or positions available at the company you're calling. For instance, accurate, thorough. These are great choices for people working in the financial sector as accounting clerks or insurance clerks. You have to have the right terminology for your industry, and of course, you know what that is because you are in that industry. That a keyword for accounting clerk would be accurate. It would be, a mistake to hire someone who isn't, or where that isn't one of their, I'd say, personality traits to be accurate. With key phrases, reconcile general ledger, verified invoices, documented shipments. Say if you're in a warehousing environment, working for some giant company like Amazon, documenting shipments would be critical to your job. Number 2, research and write down information that can become talking points about the company and the job. As an example, let's say one of the companies you are contacting is the first company to use recycled office supplies because they were concerned about sustainability, they were concerned about reducing their carbon footprint in the corporate world. So if that's something that you also are practicing, if that is something that you have a strong belief in, it would be a great talking point when you are reaching out through your cold call. The listener would probably feel a lot more uh, that they had a lot more in common with you because you share a sensibility, you have common ground. Have your notes at eye level to easily access and also to maintain your upright posture. Stooping and hunching over to read your script will affect your speech and reduce your power of delivery. It is really important. So you have to decide for yourself when you're making a cold call, do you want to stand and then walk around, or would you prefer to sit down? So whichever position makes you feel more comfortable, go with that. But if you are sitting, I can demonstrate that when you start to lean over, you start to lose a lot of your projection of your voice. So you need to sit up so that your voice can expand and project properly. Number 3, call from a quiet space. No distractions and outside noise to compete with your call and attention. It is really important. In fact, ideally, you want a room with a door you can close so you won't be interrupted. And also, you want to ensure everyone in your household is aware when you are conducting cold calls so that it is quiet outside as well as inside your room. Keep in mind, there's going to be someone listening to you, right? You're making that phone call, they're listening. They don't need to hear anything else that's going on in your household. They need to hear you and what you have to say. Number 4, smile when you call. This is very, very important. Place a mirror where you can check your facial expressions from time to time while you are speaking with the listener. Because there is no visual contact when you are calling, your tone of voice matters more. Someone who sounds happy has a better chance of keeping the listener's attention and also for longer. Introduce yourself and ask the name of your listener. Use the listener's name. Request a transfer to the appropriate person by name if you know it, if the listener isn't the appropriate person to be speaking to. Number 5, take your time with your pitch. Pace yourself so your words and reason for your call are clear to the listener. Nothing deflates your enthusiasm more effectively than having to repeat what you just said because you spoke too quickly and not to the point. I know it's frustrating sometimes when we're making a phone call, the person doesn't appear to be listening, or they make you nervous because you don't know who they are, you can't see their face, so you speed up because you just want to get it over with. But the point of the phone call is to be invited in for interviews, so we need to take our time. Number 6, be prepared to be interrupted, to be asked questions, to be told you have to apply online. Make it clear, politely, that you have applied online if there is a job posting, and that you respect the company procedure, but that you consider speaking with a department manager important to determine fit in their workplace culture and to gain a better understanding of the company's current needs. So if you're speaking to the gatekeeper, say the person in reception, they don't want to let you move on, they don't want to transfer your call to the appropriate person, your good manners go a long way. They show that you respect their protocol, and that really is important. Um, the person at the other end, there are only certain things that they can do. They might offer to transfer your call and then you're just going to get voicemail, but it is something. So see what you can do. Try to develop a rapport with the person you're speaking with, and remember, they're people. They're people like you a person. So we want to maintain our good manners at all times, regardless. Number 7, be ready for success. In other words, you have prepared your resume, put together a list of references, you have dressed professionally and cleared your schedule so you can commute to the employer's site for an immediate job interview. This does happen from time to time. You make your pitch, you connect with the person, they happen to have a job opening, and you get invited in for an interview that day, that time. You can't then turn around and say, well, you know what, I have a dentist appointment, or, well, could I come another day? It's not really convenient today. They're going to wonder, well, why did you call today if it's not convenient today? And that's your last chance, right? You get that one and only chance. So you have to be prepared for success. That the person is going to say to you, come in today. Number 8. So before you travel to that interview, confirm the address and make sure you have the direct telephone number of the person you will be seeing. Things can come up. The traffic can be bad. There could have been some kind of delay. You need to call the person to inform them and update them about what is going on. Sometimes people will say, okay, forget it, but many times they will say, you know what, we will wait for you. Take your time. If there is a change, please update us again. Number 9, if you were unsuccessful with your call because you made mistakes or the listener prevented you from reaching the person you wish to contact, try your call another day at another time. Response will vary depending on who's listening and your own confidence level. So it's possible to call, say, earlier in the day, like earlier in the morning, maybe even before a lot of the staff come into the office, so that you get to speak directly to the person you're hoping to connect with. Or you could call at lunch hour. There are different times when you might get different people on the phone. So try your luck again. Don't give up after one try. Number 10, If the listener says they aren't hiring, ask if they have any advice for you. They may know of other companies that are hiring or give you a lead in the form of a contact name. So when you are reaching out to this listener, the person actually may have several companies they keep in touch with, and those companies might contact the listener to say, you know what, we're looking for people. Can you think of anyone? Do you have any leads for us? So that's why you need to ask. That's why you need to reach out so that the listener is aware that you're flexible and that you'd be willing to approach another company. So what to remember when you are cold calling? The success rate is going to depend on the fact that you did a lot of research on the company and also the types of positions they have. It's going to depend on how much you rehearsed. It's really important to rehearse. It's such an uncomfortable experience if you haven't done that because you are actually creating a script. So rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Once you feel confident, that's the time to start making your calls. And when you are calling, when you are having that conversation with a person, smile. Just keep reminding yourself to smile because that is going to change your tone of voice and it will affect the listener. So take the time to learn this method of job search and enjoy the results, which include increased confidence, being a more effective communicator, and being invited to interview for a position that has not been posted by the company. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that you came to our site and that you got some information that maybe you didn't have before. We have many job search sessions available. Please review them and get yourself ready for your next brilliant opportunity. Thank you again.